Freedoms, greetings, Helldivers, on this October 30th or All Hallows Eve. This is going to be a little bit different of a briefing since I'm going to be covering the Democratic conversation with Mikhail Erickson, which was, I think, the second such interview. He is the game director at Arrowhead, talking a little bit about what is going on kind of across the board. And I wanted to give you some insights. So some of the opinions that I'm going to give you don't just come from some random content creator. I have some time, I have a decent amount of time in the gaming industry. If you've ever played with PS Now, it's now part of PS Plus. I was the product manager for that. So I worked with an incredible team. I think one of the best gaming teams in the business. But that was my product that I worked on. And I was able to do some incredible things there. And then I also spent some time at Blizzard. If you've ever logged on to Battle.net or you went to Blizzard.com or even the BlizzCon app, those products were under my purview as well. Again, worked with an incredible team. So I do not take full ownership of the incredible things that those teams did. And I was blessed to be a part of those. So, I do have quite a few years in the space. And this is where those opinions are coming from. So what was talked about? So first, kind of a lot of the questions was, why on that last chat did they get so many softball questions? And guys, this really gets to me, right? So if you've been following me for any amount of time by now, you know that whenever I see Shams on the Discord, Shams is the CEO of Arrowhead, I'm usually the one there asking the really hard questions. What's going on with development? When are we going to see some key features? When are we going to get a roadmap and all that stuff? And I get flamed by the community, and it drives me bananas, right? They're like, well, why do you have to ask, these questions? They're working hard. They're working on it. You're expecting too much. And I'm like, guys, I'm not shitting all over them. I am just trying to get a sense of some responses for questions that people are interested in. And now here they are saying, oh yeah, you're right, we do kind of get some softball questions. That's not our intentions. We want to answer the hard questions. So what I've been asking is what folks are interested in, and even Arrowhead acknowledged that some of the questions that they either ask themselves or get from the community are meaningless, right? Or really don't get to the crux of what people are interested in. Anyway, so I'm sorry guys, I had to be on that soapbox because I think I get a lot of crap from people when I am just trying to get answers to real things. I don't know, whatever. I'll move on. When it comes to performance improvement, so we did get that big patch, that optimization a little while ago, and they're looking to do more of the same. So we are looking to potentially get some additional performance improvements early next year. So hopefully they're going to keep making gains on that side. Also, the rumors of the PCs being bricked because of GameGuard, they looked into it. They don't see any evidence of that. So as far as they're concerned, it should be safe to run it on a PC. I've been running it on a PC pretty much since game launched, and other than the performance issues that we've all been seeing, I certainly have not been bricked. So anyways, they also talked a little bit about their history with Stingray. Stingray is the game engine that Helldivers was created on, Helldivers 2, by a company called Autodesk. It was deprecated in 2019, and they're kind of going into a little bit of history. I don't know how interested you are in it. It was just, that decision was made very early on, which makes sense. When you're making a game, one of the very first decisions you make is what game engine you're going to be on, and they could not, how could they anticipate that it was going to be deprecated? So I don't know. It's just a little bit of backdrop as far as why Stingray was selected. You can watch the interview if you're interested. They also talked a little bit about the development process. And yeah, it's the TLDR is making games is hard. It sure is, right? There's lots of different teams working on different parts, and then you have issues with, siloing, where some teams kind of don't communicate as much as they need to with other teams. Guys, it's hard. It's you've got a million different things going on. Teams are each working on their own roadmaps, or working on their own little value silos, and their heads down on things. And there are whole positions, there are roles, not just in game teams but in software development teams, where their roles, typically middle management, is to break through those silos, make sure that the processes are being optimized, and teams are talking to each other. That it's not just through a Slack conversation of like, hey, there's an issue here. They do it in a Slack, it doesn't get communicated on Confluence or whatever they're using for knowledge transfer and so on and so forth. So this is where I've swam for, I would say, I don't want to age myself too much, about 20 years. I get it. It's really hard. What they're trying to do right now as they're working on patches and all this is they're taking a fresh look at their processes and seeing where they can optimize by doing these postmortems. Pretty common. So nothing there else to cover. So another question they got is, why is there no roadmap with dates? And again, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to come down on this a little bit. So I asked Shams months ago on the official Discord. I think it even got picked up by either IGN or PC Gamer or some other publication, where I said, Shams, why is there no roadmap, even a basic roadmap? And his response, I'll see if I can dig up the original comment somewhere. His response is they want to, they need to do it, but they don't have the discipline to stick to dates. And I think that was a fair, transparent answer. So what we got is one of the main reasons why they don't have a roadmap is that they don't want to have any spoilers. They want to maintain, which I think is cool, kind of a living, breathing universe where we do get some in-game hints within the lore as far as what Super Earth is working on. But when it comes to enemy machinations, we're completely in the dark because, again, they're supposed to be, adapting to our tactics and, working stuff in secret, which is awesome. I love every part of that. But there is no reason that I can really think of, except a few, as to why we're not getting some general roadmap to get the feeling that the game is alive. They're working on some things. And again, coming from a product manager, this is a key way of getting feedback from the base as far as, hey, is the stuff that we have on the docket for that we haven't committed substantial resources yet worth it? Is that going to be something that you guys are all interested in? So again, without specifics, clear, some sense of, well, here's some themes on some of the war bonds that we're looking at. I mean, now we're getting a lot of stealth play. Right, we got, everyone I think have already heard of the redacted war bond coming down the pipeline, which is going to further go into stealth play. That kind of would have been really cool. That would have gotten the community super jazzed up if we heard about it before. Maybe expansion into new asset types, like, hey, there's some vehicles to maybe look forward to, maybe some other exosuits or anything like that. Expansion, at least saying, hey, there's some, these are the factions that might be seeing new strain or cult or variants or whatever. That'd be kind of cool. It's like, all right, hey, maybe the Illuminate's going to get their first faction. We don't know what it is. We don't know what kind of units it's going to be. But there's going to be an expansion there, maybe to give new life to the squids. That'd be kind of neat as well. Again, this isn't about specifics. This isn't about saying a so-and-so unit is going to drop in the middle of November. I think it's cool that they want to keep that under wraps. But I don't buy that the reason that they don't have any of this is because they don't want to have the spoilers. Sorry, I don't believe it. I think it's more along the lines of what Shams said a while ago. They don't know. They don't really have an answer. They have some very general sense of what they want to do, but they don't have the ability to commit to any kind of a timeline, and they just might not even know. They probably do have an MRP. MRP is a mid-range plan. Typically, that goes anywhere from about 2 to 3 years. And I think that's just filled with a ton of question marks, which is fine. I just wish that they would be a little bit more straightforward with that. But anyways, I should get off of that soapbox again. Sorry about that, guys. When it comes to where are we right now, they're looking to have these performance improvement patches. About every 2 weeks or so, which is great. That's kind of a good clip to make sure that we continue to improve performance of the game. And they are hoping to return to the normal content release cadence around November, December. Now, keep in mind, guys, I don't know how things are in Sweden, but typically there very, very little work gets done in software during that time. Typically, at least in the States, after Thanksgiving, things really do slow down. You'll have some teams still working on stuff, but when it comes to releases, usually you're going to be looking at feature freezes early December, and then you're going to be looking at a hard release freeze, mid-December at least, right? There a lot of vacations are being taken, a lot of people are going out, and the last thing any engineer wants while they're trying to enjoy a vacation is, oh my God, we have to do a rollback because something went sideways. So I'm not expecting a whole lot. Now, we did get a pretty big release last year. I think we got the Illuminate, right? That came out, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I should be checking myself right now, but I'm not. But we did get a pretty large release last December, about early to mid. Maybe we'll be seeing one more of those. But then, obviously don't expect anything around Christmas time. Anyways, so sorry that this was so long, and I will get off my soapbox. I do apologize for that, but I had to get that out there. Anyways, that was a long briefing. I will be here tomorrow to greet you guys for Halloween. Until then, happy diving, y'all.